What's going on, guys? Cranky old dude finally back for another video for Cranky's Point. Unfortunately, I should have had a few more out by now, but this past week I got really sick on Saturday, and yesterday was the first day I was actually moving a little bit and had to go to a doctor's appointment. And lo and behold, that 3 days of not eating anything ended up costing me another 8 pounds. It's like, holy crap. Just keep losing it, losing it, losing it. Anyways, guys, I do appreciate you guys coming out. I'm going to try to get better about getting these videos out more consistently. Bear with me, please. I do deal with a bunch of health issues if you've seen my first two. And I'm, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this channel since we're just starting it. And one of the things I want to do is I kind of want to cover what I know, and what I know is how to deal with these doctors and the pain doctors and all the stuff I've been dealing with to get everything situated to the point where I am today. And today I wanted to kind of talk about finding that right pain management doctor and how long it takes to get that right pain management doctor and earn that trust and that conversations that you can have with the doctor that nowadays you most likely don't get. And, it's a dealing with pain and chronic pains is a pain in the butt, yes. And there's so many different types of pain. There's physical pain, there's mental pain, there's heartbreak, everything. It's all there. And one thing usually leads to another, which just it kind of amplifies and it'll keep going and going. And at some point, you got to deal with the pains. And I've been in pain management 14 years. 14 years. For those of you who don't know what you have to do when you're in pain management, it varies from state to state for the most part, but there's some specific rules that apply. And, I will get into those more as we go along here during this conversation. But I kind of wanted to talk about, pain in general and dealing with pain, how to deal with it and what I do to deal with it. And I'm not going to go into exactly every medication that I take or anything like that, but I'm going to kind of tell you what happened yesterday, which is why I decided to go this route and talk about this because I had something totally different I was going to talk about, but I feel like this is kind of important. And since I kind of opened this whole channel up and started talking about why I'm here, I might as well just continue with it right now. And then, we'll add other stuff. But, I do hope you guys do enjoy the video. We'll talk some here in a minute. If you do enjoy it, make sure you give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm trying to grow this channel, and any support I get, I do appreciate. We'll get there. I just started it. I know there's only a few subscribers. I'm probably only talking to maybe two or three people. Who knows? I mean, but screw it. If it helps one of you, it's good enough for me. Yeah, check out my other channel as well. I got my Cranky Old Dude Reaction channel. We got some great bands over there. I found a couple the other day that just punched me in the face right before I got sick, and I got to go do some more of their videos because they are really good. But yeah, that's Cranky Old Dude, spelled with a K, just like K here at Cranky's Point. There will be a link down below for my other channel. That is if YouTube allows me to put it in there yet. They didn't last couple videos. We'll see if they do now. But anyways, guys, I do appreciate all of you. And I'm, like I said, I'm trying to grow the channel, trying to find my way. I went from working for 45, 46 plus years, to suddenly getting by barely. And I'm not used to that. So trying to find something to supplement, something to do. So yeah, I figured I'd kind of go over this with you guys. But I want to kind of talk about today, getting the right doctors, getting the ones that listen, help you out, pain management and specifically pain management and a good neurologist, surgeon, that's what if it's dealing with your back or your neck, getting the right doctors together that talk and work together because I can tell you right now, most of them don't. They look at a piece of paper and they're like, oh yeah, he's jacked up. And they hand it off and they wait for their turn to do whatever they're doing. The surgeon wants to know, yeah, I can cut tomorrow or whatever. I got blessed. My surgeon and we discussed a plan and thought it was going to work and tried everything we could. He told me I could work until I couldn't work. And before I had that last surgery on my neck. And then he told me after the surgery, I could work as long as I wanted to work. And then when he saw me for my 8 month, 1 year, I'm sorry, my 1 year checkup, he's like, nah, you're done. And that was it. I was done. Uh, he saw me, he saw how much weight I lost and everything. He just turned it off. But the whole time, he and my pain doctor were always talking. And my pain doctor, he rocks. And, if you're in the Austin, Texas, central, close to Austin and stuff, and you need pain management or you need a good neurosurgeon, uh, both of mine are probably, they're in the top 10 for sure of the whole state. My pain doctor's was number one last year for pain management in Austin. And my my neurosurgeon, he freaking, you got a good one whenever the first time you meet him and you see him pull up in the morning and you see him pull in a Maserati and he's dressed to the nine and he's properly fitted and he's there early and he's telling everyone good morning and he's positive and first thing he told me is, what do you want to do? I can fix it right now or we can come up with a plan together. And I never had a doctor tell me that. So yeah, it kind of kicked ass to hear that from, and it's nice to hear doctors say that. I told him, I said, well, I need a pain doctor here that can work with you. And he gave me the pain doctor I'm with now. And, I've been with him for a while. And whew, him and his nurse practitioners, and I'm not a big fan of the nurse practitioner, especially with some of the horror stories that I've had myself with some of them. My first nurse practitioner with pain management, she was, oh, if I hadn't stopped my wife, she might have scratched the woman's eyes out. Um, she treated people horribly, and eventually that pain doctor replaced her. But yeah, I refused to see her. I had to see him only, which made it hard for me. But, you know, I had a good pain doctor there, I mean, when I was in Dallas area. But then when I moved Central Texas area and stuff, where I was at by Fort Hood, it was no bueno. They were horrible. They were scared to prescribe anything. They had to change all my medications because, oh, we don't prescribe what I was taking. Uh, and it was because they were, they dealt with a lot of the military guys who were hurt and had to deal with pain management and things. And, they knew, and later on down the road, I found out one of my pain doctors there, they actually were involved with a big investigation and were fined heavily for pain management oopsies or whatever you want to call it, overprescribe, whatever, or I don't know what it was they did. I don't want to speak to that, and I'm not even going to mention the name of the pain management, but that's kind of why when I went to see this neck doctor, I asked for him to give me a pain doctor and crossed my fingers that they would really talk, and I got lucky. So that's kind of where I want to go with this is, I'm going to kind of try to fill in some of the blanks of some of the crap I've went through over the time. And we'll talk about other things later on, but, not just in this video, but in, I want to kind of touch on this and how hard it was to do it. My pain doctor in Dallas, he was awesome, and The first one I had in San Antonio, he was okay, but I was new to pain management, and you know, I moved to Dallas, and it really got hard going back and forth from Dallas to San Antonio for pain management. So I got this pain management in Dallas, and I just got lucky. He was freaking awesome and really nice guy. And when I moved to Central Texas, though, he said, "Yeah, I can't send prescriptions, halfway across the state to take care of this." He goes, "You're going to have to find one there." And he referred me to someone there where I was at by Fort Hood, and that was a cluster F. And like I said, then I switched over to the one I'm at now, and I've got to say, my pain management doctor, he is straight up with you. He'll tell you, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. And one of the things that really surprised me was when I first met him was, you know, he knew what my prescription was, and he goes, "I can give you your prescription, but I'm not giving you that many." And I was fine with that because trust me, I don't need 20 fistfuls, or anything like that of pain meds, but want to make sure I have enough to get through the month and things like that with my situation. And he listened, and we came up with a plan. And I told him one of the pain doctors at my previous clinic wanted me to do the electronic stimulator into my neck, and he was like, "You can't, because you don't have anything left in there." And that's what I had thought too. I was like, "Why would I want to do that? Because what could we fix? There's nothing there to really fix." And he was honest with me, and it really surprised me that he threw that out right away because he installs them just like they do. And apparently, some of these pain clinics will sell those up because insurance will jump on it real quick because they hope that they keep you out of the pain clinic all the time, and I go monthly. I have to go every month, and it's a it's a pain in the butt, but you got to do it, especially with my situation. Little things can put me down for a day or two, depending on what's going on, and I know some people don't understand that, but one day, hopefully, you won't have to either. But those of you who do understand it know that it can be a pain in the ass. And I kind of want to just make sure we all touch on what works for you to find your pain doctor or whatever specialty doctor. And one of the things that I use is I use the Radadoc. I've got a list here. Let me pull up my thing real quick, see if I can add it up here for you to see too. Yeah, I've got Find Doctors specialist. I've got health the Health Finders and the Health Grades. I've got WebMDs, the best doctors, uh, and there's just so many different ones. And then the other thing that I do a lot of is I go and I read the reviews, and I don't read them in just one place. I go to a couple different places. I'll check Google and I'll check Yelp and you can see some people say, there's bots or whatever. And it is what it is, they may be doing that. And if they are, shame on them because it should be their clients that are giving those reviews, not some little girl in the back or some little guy in the back over there, type and cut and paste, copy paste, stuff like that. No, those reviews, if you start looking at them, and as much as I had to because of all the doctors and stuff and having to look for second opinions and different things like that, you learn real quick. And I check them, and one of the things I found about this pain doctor, the one thing I saw constantly was he listens. He works with you to come up with a plan, but he listens, and that grabbed me right away because sometimes you walk in and doctors like the ones I had over there by Fort Hood, they were locked in. They only this, and this, no deviations. I mean, it was an act of Congress whenever they did my one of my surgeries for them to write a prescription for one extra pill for a month. And it was like you would have thought you killed somebody to get that thing or something. But I tell them I'm about to go have my neck surgery, and they're like, "Do you want us to write them, or are you going to have the neurosurgeon do it? Just let us know so we can release the letter." They were ahead of the game before I even mentioned what was going on. And no, I just dealt with them directly, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of rules, but they're great. And the thing is look for those little keywords that are important to you. I wanted a pain doctor that listened. I wanted one that cared. I wanted one that came up with alternative possibilities. It wasn't, I didn't walk in there and the first thing he said is, "Oh, let's go put in a electrostimulator." That wasn't going to work. He told me, "No, hell no, it's not going to work." It didn't make sense. All right. First off, he just saved me probably $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it was at that point that I would have owed on my end of them putting it in. So that's a big check mark. Now, with everything that's going on and the changing over of my insurances and stuff, once I get approved for the Medicare side of it, I will get it all in place, but I have to wait. So I'm on my other insurance, but he's not in network. So we work together on that as well to help me save money because he knows what I'm going through. Um, but yeah, I mean, these are the things you need to find in a doctor. I don't know how many people go to a doctor and they hate the SOB or whatever, whatever they want to call them. I had a doctor that I couldn't stand, and but he was chosen by the insurance company at the time, and that's who I had to go see. And where we were at the time, there wasn't like a big list of them, that you could just go and jump into. And same thing, pain management's really hard, okay? If you got a pain management doctor, don't just go jumping doctor to doctor because that actually puts red flags by your name and by your, what you're taking, and they're going to think you're doctor shopping. If you have to make the change, make it through your primary and whoever's dealing with your cause of your pain. If it's a neurosurgeon or if it's an orthopedist or whatever it is. Um, those guys should be helping you make that decision. But ultimately, it's your decision. And if you tell a doctor that, my doctor's not listening to me, you tell your primary care that, your neurosurgeon's not listening, he should be either helping you find another one or putting his foot in the ass of that neurosurgeon saying, "What are you doing to my patient?" And same the other way around. If it's your primary care who's not helping get these things taken care of and you're having to go back to the other one, it's just one of those deals. I mean, I had a primary care that didn't want to even help with the disability at first when we first started talking about it. Uh, right whenever I went out, and he wanted me to I had to go get the neurosurgeon to write everything up and everything like that. And then after he read everything the neurosurgeon put in there, even though it was right in front of him already in paper and I had already given it all to him, he just wanted to see the neurosurgeon's signature at the bottom, I guess. But, he didn't do a whole lot of any of the work on that. It was all my neurosurgeon and my pain doctor. Those guys actually listened. And that's why they're rated one of the top doctors. And that's why I say find those words that are important to you. Do they care about the patient? Do they listen to the patient? Do they work with the patient on a plan? And do they help the patient execute it? If those things all are important to you, those key little words in there that you treasure and you want to make sure that you are looking for when you find those doctors, if you use those particular words when you're checking the reviews, when you're checking their website, all of those different things, use that as part of your guide. Okay. My pain doctor in Austin, like I said, rated top pain doctor in Austin last year. Uh, his whole staff is awesome. He got a new nurse practitioner, and I tell you, like I said, I'm not a big fan of nurse practitioners, but I'll tell you what, Mercedes is pretty awesome, and um, the rest of the guys there and gals, they tear it up. I mean, they're always trying to help the patient. They're always talking with the patients. It's not, just walk in, sit down, and blood pressure and walk out. They ask you some questions. They, talk to you, and it's nice to know that. But I hope you guys, will kind of think about that because the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because I've been dealing with this pain, 14, 15 years and plus. And I went to my appointment yesterday and we had been talking about, and y'all no, you don't actually. You go to my cranky old dude 2 months ago or so, we did a change in my medication to try something new and it kind of screwed with me pretty bad. And uh, we went back to the old, but Mercedes could see I was really frustrated and she went over and actually fought with my doctor. I say fought, she fought on my behalf and said, look, the guy's not sleeping at night. He can't even, I haven't slept in a bed in 14 years or plus probably because of my neck. And I sleep a couple hours at a time. I can't sleep a whole night. If I sleep 2 hours or more than 2 hours at a time, and I do that 2 or 3 times in the night, I've had a good night. Average night sleep, maybe 4. And like I said, that's 2 hours max at one time. Usually it's an hour. Sometimes it might only be a half hour. All I got to do is turn wrong and I'm up. So she went to the doctor and argued with him back and forth and said, look, we got to come up with something to help this man sleep. And one of the things about that medication change that we made last time, I slept harder than I normally do when I took it. The problem is when the pain is bad, like when I wake up in the morning, I don't just get up and get moving. It takes, it's a process. Sometimes it can take me 5 minutes. Sometimes it can take me 3 hours just to get up and get moving. To the point where, say, I had to run down to the store or something, most of the time there's never a 5 minute up and out of here um, because I don't sleep enough. Because I've had a rough night, because I didn't lay, I'm a side sleeper, so I have to sleep on the side and I have to be perfectly straight, neck, everything. And if I'm not, all hell breaks loose when I wake up. And the pain medicine that we switched to didn't cover those days when it was bad. Uh, where you have to kind of fall out of wherever you're laying or trying to lay and getting on your hands and knees just trying to stand up, on the floor, and you're kind of walking yourself up a wall or something to be able to stand. Um, it was just like it gets like that, and those are the days that I have to get up and I have to take something. And that one they were giving me, like I said, it worked great at night, helps me sleep harder. So she went in there and with her infinite wisdom, she fought and argued with the doctor back and forth because, the doctors, they're responsible for all this stuff. And there's a certain limit they can do as far as pain medications and what they can do on giving it to you. And she said, look, if we try this, which was give me my regular meds and then give me the extended release for at night so that when I take it, I'm not waking up 4 hours later or 3 hours later or 2 hours later and I'm hurting like hell and just out of habit grab a pain pill. With those, I'm sleeping harder, not longer, but harder. So if I do wake up, I can go right back to sleep and I don't have to reach for medications. These are the things that you gotta find in doctors that, and trust me, I was like, when she told me about it, I was like, how's this gonna work? Because, that's a lot of medication. That was the first thing I said. And she said, well, if we take it like we discussed before you walk out of here, you should be fine. And so last night when I tried it, I slept harder, but I didn't sleep hardly at all. So, but that was the first night because what we've done is I'm taking an extended release at night, and it should work through the night. And then I take my regular ones, or I can take an extended release in the morning, and then only use my regular ones if the pain's bad. And so that's what we're going to be test driving. And so far, so good. But yeah, guys, I mean, I'll talk more about all this, later. I will tell you the rules in pain management are ridiculous. You have to, you gotta every at least every 3 months you get hit with a piss test. Uh, and when you do get hit with that piss test, you better have your medication in your system, or you're no longer getting your medication. Uh, if they feel like you're abusing the system or you're abusing them in any way, they could even have you bring in your medication on, like, schedule your appointment 20 days from the 30-day mark just for the hell of it, and have you come in on the 20th day or the 21st day and say, bring your medications with you. And they do a medication count. And if you don't have the right amount of meds in there, it's up to the doctor on how they handle that. These are the things that I used to tell people when I was working, and I worked at a government job. I told them I take more drug tests than the company gives out in a day or in a month, for the year. It just depends on how many people were hiring, of course, but you know what I'm saying. Just on an average, I was taking anywhere from 6 to 8 a year sometimes. Not because I did anything wrong, but because they throw in those randoms. Well, now I've been with my pain doctors and stuff long enough that I don't do that anymore. It's like every 3 months I go in, and I mean, if I hadn't been in good graces with the pain doctor, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now with this new tribe of medications. And that's why I tell people, find the doctors that work for you, talk to somebody who's had the problem or is dealing with that same type of problem, and ask them about their doctor and why did they choose them. And they're, like I said, it's those keywords in your head that you need to be paying attention to when you're looking up doctors and when you're looking at ratings and when you're looking at reviews. Don't, just because they got 4 stars or 5 stars or 20 star, whatever, don't don't just go by that. Go by what's important to you. Anyways, guys, I do appreciate all of you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you on the next one. We'll talk a little bit more then. Yeah, I hope to see y'all soon. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Don't forget to check out my other channel as well, Cranky Old Dude Reactions. You like you like metal music? Ooh, I got a couple of new bands out there that I just did. They're not new bands, but they're new to me. But holy cow! But yeah, we'll be talking about all kinds of different things here. I'm not gonna just go jump political stuff just because that's the hot, pretty shiny thing today. Government shutdown and all that. I think sometimes you got to purge a little bit. I think it's time that they're going to be doing a little bit of that here soon. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. That's done. That's a different topic for a different day. Anyways, guys, I hope to see you on the next video. Break us out.